Well, hi everyone, and welcome to MMSA's first professional event of the year, Personal Branding in a Digital World Workshop. My name's Carly, and I'm the Human Resources Director at MMSA. And thank you all for the time you're taking to attend this event. It's so wonderful to see some new faces and hopefully some people who are already part of the society and some new faces as well. So we hope you're all just excited as we are. This should be an awesome workshop today. Okay, just keep in mind as well that we want to let you know that this event can be claimed for GLP credit under the code GLX30 as one of your 2 career events. So if any of you are doing a global leadership program, make sure you take 2 screenshots before and after the event as evidence for your attendance. So if anyone wants to take the time to take a screenshot now, I just want to make sure you can get your claim for that. Just keep in mind as well, we'll also have a Q&A session in the last 15 minutes of the workshop. So if you have any questions during the event, make sure to pop them down in the chat box so we can answer them at the end. So today we are joined by global marketer and brand strategist Urvashi Ghosh, who will be leading this event. With more than 6 years of experience in marketing, international business expansion, strategy, and consulting, Urvashi's made a mark in both the corporate world and entrepreneurial landscape. She joins us to pass on all the insights and strategies that have worked well for her in developing and enhancing her personal brand. We're so excited to have you here. So without further ado, let's give a big welcome to Urvashi Ghosh.
Thank you, Carly, for that lovely introduction. All right, so how are we doing today? Are we all good? Can I get a thumbs up?
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you don't know how to do a thumbs up, you can do it in your reactions.
Yeah. So thank you for that lovely introduction, Carly. So as Carly rightly mentioned, I have about 6.5 years of experience. I have worked in Asia Pacific region and also in the US. I've worked with startups nowadays. I help them with their branding, marketing, and e-commerce channel optimization. So I was a student just like you all. 2 years back in University of Sydney, I was doing my Masters of Marketing, and just like you all, I also went through a lot of struggle in terms of finding jobs and like understanding myself, like what's working, what's not working. So then I figured that okay, I think just going to seat.com.au is not going to help me. I need to have a proper strategy, and then I need to streamline the whole process and then get into this whole business. So what I did was, okay, I actually formulated a workbook for myself, and I'm going to share that workbook with you all today. So that's going to give you actionable tips, insights, and since I've actually worked with 6 companies on a contractual basis when I was a student, I think you can also get some insights from it, and you can also work with MNCs like a core, or else you can also work at startups. So I think let's get started. I'll just share my screen. Just give me a second. Okay, is my screen visible? Can I get a thumbs up? Can you see? All right, cool, perfect. So today's workshop is personal branding in a digital world. So as we know that, during this pandemic era, plus, even pre-pandemic, things were moving digital, and nowadays there's special emphasis and focus on the digital side of things. So I'm going to show you how you can actually build your personal brand, especially through LinkedIn. So feel free to ask me any questions that you have towards the end of the session. You can just, mention the questions in the chat, which is visible to everyone, so that Kali can also see. So we have about 15 minutes of Q&A at the end. So please feel free to ask me any questions that you have. All right. So as I mentioned that I had a workbook in place for my, job hunting strategy phase. So this is what it is. All right. So basically it encompasses of 10 pointers. That's very, very crucial and important. So I'll be going through each of these pointers and I'll be telling you how I did and how you can do it as well. Alrighty. So first things first, you need to know that who you are. So during this whole workbook example that I'm going to give you, I'm going to take my example as to like what I did, and then you can formulate a similar workbook for yourself as well, right? So who am I? You need to ask yourself that who are you? Like, who do you want to be, and where do you currently, position yourself as? So I know for a fact that, okay, I have done all these things, so this is where I stand. And apart from my professional world also, like, what do I stand for? So I love to travel, so that's another attribute that gets associated with your overall personality, right? Apart from this, what you can do is you can go and take bricks buyer's personality test, which is which you can just Google and you can get it. So you can actually understand that what's your personality type. That's very, very important, because let's say that you get some sort of relationship manager role, which requires you to be an extrovert, which requires you to have that people building capacity or that relationship management skills. So if you do that test, you'll come to know whether you are actually capable of doing such a business, like such a job or not. If let's say you're an introvert, there's no harm in being an introvert, but then there are certain other roles for you and not the relationship manager. All right. So as Kali has rightly mentioned, I've worked with a couple of brands. So these are all the brands that I work with on contractual basis, as volunteer, paid time roles, and everything in between. So I have worked with all these brands in the last 6.5 years. All right, so this is a crucial thing. You need to ask, yourself that what sort of perception do people have about you? Like, what do people say when you leave the room? So there are two attributes to it. First is the professional side of things, and second is the personal side of things. In the professional world, let's say people call me determined, calculated, and all of that. And on the personal side, let's say people call me fun, rational, and all of that. But these are very, very generic terms. We should not be going ahead with these generic terms. So then what I did was I actually, sat down with myself, and then I was like, okay, what exactly do I want people to tell about myself, right? So in the professional world, what do I want people to say? So I want people to say or think that I have clear, digital vision in terms of executing the campaigns or something like that. It's very, very important nowadays to have a really good, EQ, which is emotional quotient, because you're like dealing with a lot of different sort of people. So it's important that, you incorporate all that attribute into your personality. So, and as well, apart from all these pointers, it's also important that, you need to be like innovative problem solver, because nowadays people are just looking for problem solvers. But then if you're innovative, then it adds to your charm, right? So similarly, what do I actually want my friends to think about, like apart from those generic terms? So I thought that, okay, a hustler, a person who likes to travel, and an exceptional listener. So when you actually go for leadership roles, it's very, very important to have very, very good listening skills, because that actually sets you apart, because people are going to approach you, they have their problems. So you need to you need to have those, exceptional listening power in order to comprehend what exactly they're saying. All right, moving on. So secondly, the pointer is that what are my career and personal goals, right? So let's say that in terms of my career goal, I want to be a chief marketing officer at a financial services company. So that becomes my career goal. And in terms of personal goal, maybe let's say that I want to travel to Norway, right? I want to go and explore Nordic region. So that becomes my personal goal. So it's important for you to actually understand that what exactly are your, intrinsic attributes. What exactly do you want people to think about you, right? And what also, like, it's important that you need to know that what's the kind of vision that you're setting for yourself. So at times what happens is you don't really know that what's your vision like. So that's all right. It's basically like you need to do trial and error experimentations, like keep like going. So even if you're like meeting with a lot of failures, I would still say like keep going. There's no harm in like asking for help. Like reach out to 500 people, at least like one will actually help you out. And that's exactly what I did. I asked for help. It's basically people feel that like asking for help is oh my god, like how do I do it? But it's easier than that. It's basically just tell people like that you're looking for something which is exciting, which is in which aligns to your career goal, and that can actually help you. All right, so moving on, now we have something known as core and augmented brand features. Just like a brand has core features, even your personal brand should have certain core features and emotional side of things. So in the core features, you actually have your education, like how many years of work experience you have, and certain attributes that you think should be there in your core or the functional features. And in terms of augmented, there are emotional attributes attached to them. Like for example, I love to play with dogs, so I'm a dog lover. Then I like to volunteer for social causes, so that's more on the social side. And then like other attributes as well. So you need to understand that what exactly are your core features, where do you need actually help with, and what's working, what's not working. So that's important. All right. So next is that you need to understand what exactly are you going to offer to your clients. So basically you need to understand, just like a company, you also need to have some sort of target audience, wherein let's say you want to target, let's say, just the unicorns like Canva, right? You just want to work at Canva after you graduate. So that becomes your target company or target audience. So then you need to ask yourself, what sort of value are you bringing to the table? Like what exactly makes you different as compared to someone else? And also like what makes you unique? Like for example, let's say you've done some sort of certification, you have worked with a company which is very into like a niche area. So that becomes something which differentiates you from the crowd, because you must be knowing that every single year thousands and thousands of students pass out from universities, and as compared to the number of students who are passing out, there are very less jobs in the market. So you need to market yourself, be very like vocal about the things that you think are very important in nowadays, and have a voice, because everyone has a voice over here. All right, so apart from the pointers that I just mentioned, it's also important to know that what sort of value proposition do you actually have for your target audience and how you can actually make a difference. So this is something that I've written on the basis of my past experience, and this is something that you can actually do as well. So next is, how do I actually position my brand? So over here, what I need to do is you need to actually mark down in terms of your skills, right? So I'll be specifically, talking about digital marketing skills. So let's say that in terms of digital marketing skills, you have the performance marketing side of things, wherein it's all about SEO, PPC, SEM, and all of that. And the second is on line of, content creation. It's more about designing. Okay, so this graph is more about the skills, and the horizontal line of things over here, it's all about the experience that you have. So what you need to do is, let's say you want to become a senior marketing manager at Canva. So you need to see that, you need to eye at a person who is, let's say, at a CMO level, right? So wherein you want to reach, that's your career goal, all right? And someone who has reached that position, let's say a person who's working at Canva has reached a position, so that person becomes your competitor. And then a person who's like somewhat or someone of your range, so then you get some competitors in your mind. So I've done this positioning for myself. So what I've done is Lisa Ronson. So she is the ex-CMO of Tourism Australia. Right now, she's the CMO of goals. So she is like my ideal, right? The idol. So let's say that, she has all that I actually need. So I positioned her over here, wherein, in terms of global campaign management, she has done pretty well. And also in terms of skills, she is right over there. Whereas the other, competitors that I have, so they are placed somewhere over here. So then it sort of like gives me the idea that where I am at and where I want to be at. So you can see that on the left hand side, let's say this is my current position and this is my desired position. So I have to work on certain skills in order to reach to Lisa's position. So that's how I position myself. All right, so these are my competitors, right? So Lisa, who's a CMO, as I said. Then Elizabeth, she works at Morgan Stanley as head of Asia Pacific marketing. So then again, she's working in the APAC region. So even I have worked in the APAC region. So she's again my competitor. And then there are certain, individuals who are working in the Indian companies. So uh, let's say someone of my age, right? So they're working as senior marketing managers. So I did this competitors analysis, and I would request all of you who are attending this workshop to do something like this for yourself as well, because it's going to give you idea that, okay, a person who are, of Lisa's caliber, like how did she actually grow to that stage? Go to a LinkedIn profile, check how did she start. Maybe, everyone starts out as an intern and then slowly builds their corporate career. Even if you don't want to get into corporate, let's say you want to go into startups, so you can check that what sort of experience do people have, what sort of events they are attending. All right, now coming to this side, so how do I actually make my personal brand come alive? So it's basically through LinkedIn, right? So I love LinkedIn. I actually, I'm very active user of LinkedIn, and majority of the work that I do nowadays, it's all coming through LinkedIn. So as I said, during this, I think. At the start of the lecture, I said that just applying to jobs is not going to help. It's basically having a right strategy. So right now I'm going to actually show you my LinkedIn profile and like how you can actually like have a strategy in place and not just apply to jobs. All right, so these are some of the screenshots that I have incorporated when I was in Australia. So this is my, like I used to keep sharing stuff, like with regards to the strategy workshopping or like working with my colleagues at a startup. So, all right. So now what I'll do is I'll share my screen. Can you see the screen? All right, perfect. So let's say that you want to become a senior product marketing manager at Canva, right? You don't have experience right now. So how do you, like become this? So it says that you need 5 years of work experience in product marketing in a tech environment. SaaS experience highly desirable. So then, like all these cues actually help you to understand what do you want to do right now, which will actually help you few years down the line. So let's say you don't have any experience, but you see for a fact that a startup or like a unicorn like Canva really values SaaS experience, which is nothing but software as a service. So you need to go out in the market and check that what are the SaaS companies out there who are actually recruiting people. Let's say there's a company XYZ, right? So you need to go and then check what the company does. If there is a particular person who can actually help you out in terms of doing like getting some sort of relevant work experience. And it's also important to actually add value throughout the whole project, because I have come across certain students who feel that they're coming out from a certain university, and like the employers are going to be like, oh my god, yes, come to us, we are going to hire you. No, it does not work like that. You have to actually like add a lot of value. Like as I said, you need to be an innovative problem solver. You need to actually, like give them a lot of value. So, okay, coming back to this. So let's say that I want to work as a senior product manager, at product marketing manager. So two things: either I can just go and apply and be, like the 148th applicant, or else I can have a different route altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here. So what I've done is I've just typed senior marketing manager at Canva, Australia. I just searched over here. So I just clicked on jobs on LinkedIn, and then I've gotten this. So what I'll do is I'll head to the company's page. So let's see what the company's page tells us. All right. So the company's page tells me two important things. Firstly, three people from your school work here, which means that three people from University of Sydney are working over here, and there are about 1,600 employees already. So let's see, like, what exactly do they have? Let's see if I can actually find something over here. So all this, like information can actually help you in terms of, rolling out your content. So I'll come to that in a bit, but then like just bear with me just 2 minutes. All right. So over here I found that, okay, they have put out certain, like a company culture related pictures, which is good, which says that this company is growing, but then similarly they're very, very, active, people are friendly. All right. And I want to work over here, right? So what I'll do is I'll head over to people. All right, so this gives me an idea that where exactly are these people coming from? So it says that, okay, 864 people live in Australia. They're coming from these universities. I'm like, okay, all right. So let's say that I am interested in Macquarie University. So I'll click onto Macquarie. All right, so okay, so since I'm not at Macquarie's, like I have not done my master's from Macquarie, it's not popping up. So in case you, of course, like you are from Macquarie, so just like click on this, and then the number of people who are like your alums will actually pop up over here. So okay, all right. So then now what? Let's say that I don't know anyone over here, right? So what do I do? How do I get a job at Canva? So let's just check for some people. So okay, Sean is working at growth at Canva. Okay, Anshul Patel is working as product growth at Canva. Okay, all right. All right, so over here I can find that there is one person who's working in marketing and partnership, which is sort of related to the senior marketing manager, right? But all right, let's just hold on. Let's see if we have more people working over here in the marketing team. So okay, this is growth, corporate communications is like more of PR, senior marketing, performance marketing. Yeah, Patricia is working in performance marketing. So that's interesting. Okay, Janine is the chief marketing officer. All right, so I think this gives us very, very good insight. So what I'll do first is I'll actually head to Janine's profile, right? So I'll go to her profile. Let's see what like where is she from. All right, so Jenny is based in US. That's what I can see. She is in San Francisco, and she has been working. Okay, so she has worked at Canva. All right, that's all. Like that also works. So what I'm going to do is, I actually want Janine to actually refer me to Canva. All right, and how do you do that? So what I'm going to do is just tap on this, connect, right? Add a note. So I'm going to just say that, hi, Janine. You cannot just write that, hi, I want a job at Canva. That does not work. So you need to write that, hi, Janine, I am a, okay, one more thing. So when you are a student, you should not position yourself as a student. No, that ends right at a university. You need to position yourself as a professional who actually knows how to make things happen, right? So I'm going to write over here that, hi, Janine, right? I am a marketing professional with so many years of experience. If you're starting out, you still should position yourself as a professional. Let's say that you have graduated. Yeah.
I don't think we're seeing your new screen. Are you on someone's page?
Okay, wait 1 second. Let
Sorry.
me just okay. All right. Can you see right now?
Yes, there we go. I thought so.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Okay, I'll repeat what I said. So I went to Janine's profile, right? So you were able to see I came through that. Okay, all right. So I came to Janine's profile, right? So she is right now the CMO of Zoom, right? But she has worked as an advisor at Canva. So I was saying that in order to actually, like give me heads up in the applicants pool, what I need to do is I actually need to go to her profile, right? Over here, I need to go and click on connect. Don't just send, right? Don't just tap on send. Add a note. Okay. So over here, write hi Janine, and then like hope you're doing well. I'm a marketing professional, right? I have worked with, so you are doing a lot of university projects, so say that you associated with a couple of projects, so that's going to bring in value. Say that also make it all about her. Now uh, by the term all about her, I mean that you need to see that where exactly has she worked at. So you can see that okay, like she has worked at Cisco, then Webex, and then she's just done her bachelor's, right? So you can actually appreciate her. You can say that, love the career trajectory that you actually have. I aspire to be someone like you. I was actually, looking at a profile, like looking at the job posting of Canva, and it can be like great if you could actually help me out or something like that. I'm not saying that you need to put in these words, but something that makes it all about her. And you also need to show her that why she should refer you and not someone else, right? So a lot of people actually just tap on apply in that job board section. Don't do that. Rather, like go and actually see people, like go to people's profile and then check like what's actually working and what's not working for you. So similarly, like what you can do is you can reach out to other professionals also who are actually working in the marketing team at Canva. That can also help you. So I'll just stop sharing the screen because I'm going back, so just a second. All right. So, yeah. So, as I mentioned, there are a couple of people who are working in the marketing team. Reach out to them, see if you have mutual connections, right? See if they can actually help you out. Now, for example, a person who is not related to marketing can also help you out sometimes, right? So, I can see over here that Dexter, who actually like is a connection from who works in Australia. So, he's my connection. I can reach out to Dexter and I can ask him, hey, Dexter, like I was looking at a job, if you could help me out with an introduction to Dimene, I think that would be great. So that can also help you. All right. So this is one side of things wherein you can actually approach people directly who are the decision makers. That's one side. The second thing is that you need to like add value. So I'll head over to my profile and I'll show you like what I did when I was a student. So all right, so you have this section called featured on in your LinkedIn thing. What you need to do is whatever like good accomplishments you have, or else like in any event that you've attended, be it online, offline, anything in between, like just post it with a lot of value, right? So over here you will see that I have I think about like 10 posts. So a person who comes to my profile sees that okay, like I have like worked, studied, did all of that, like did volunteering as well. So you can like start posting. So what you need to do is just go to home and start posting over here. So write something which actually brings in a lot of value to someone who's reading it. So if you just write that hey, completed certification of digital marketing today, that's not going to add value to anyone, right? So you need to add value to a person who's actually reading it. So you need to write that okay, learned 5 things, right? And this is how these 5 things are going to help you. If you need help, I can actually help you out. So that's how you're building confidence. So that's how you need to project yourself, that even though you don't know, but you can help out people. Like that's how you start to learn, right? So, and then when people actually see that, okay, like you're posting something, then people like automatically, like have this recall value that, okay, I think Urvashi posted something about digital marketing. I have a project in my hand. I don't know how to do. Maybe I should approach her. So that's how you get more jobs, and that's how you get more contracts, and that's how it has worked for me. So basically, it's basically you have to make yourself visible. You have to like go and do something and come back on LinkedIn, add value to someone who's reading it, and then you're all good, right? So this is how, these are the two strategies that you can use, and use this on a regular basis, like keep doing it on a continuous basis. It's going to add a lot of value to to your profile, trust me, because all the opportunities that I've gotten in Australia are more or less through LinkedIn. So I've approached like the managing directors or the GMs, and I've gotten I mean, they've accepted my request, and they've actually like given me recommendation as well. So what you can do is, the next thing is like whatever you are working on, let's say on a project or something on those lines, you need to take recommendations from people. So that actually brings in a lot of value also. So since I'm working with some US based companies, so I've actually asked their owners to write something about me. So they've written, and then so Brad is a GM at a financial services firm at Australia. So like this, like you need to add, keep adding the recommendations on your profile, so that a person or a recruiter comes to your profile and checks that, okay, all these people have shown confidence in you. So of course, like I should reach out to you as well. So I think if you do what I just said on a continuous basis, that's going to add a lot of value to you. Okay, all right, now I will go back to my side. Okay, present. All right, so moving from that, you need to understand that what exactly are your plus points and what are your weaknesses. So every single person has some sort of weaknesses, and that like weakness, that's perfectly all right. So over here, this pointer mentions about the investment aspect in terms of enhancing your personal brand. So even though I know about digital marketing, I know about strategy consulting and all of that, but still, like every single day there's something new coming up in the market. So you need to be very, very relevant. Go and do courses, right? Go and read about them on online, go to YouTube, attend events. That's how you're going to like enhance your knowledge. Also, network is very important. Like you cannot really survive just by yourself. It's all about meeting new people. And as like someone who was an introvert once upon a time, I would say that like it's like there is no harm in being an introvert, but then like you need to be reaching out to people, like reaching out to people, like maybe like at the beginning you're going to be like, okay, how do I do it? But then after a point you're going to be like, even if the person denies or says no, does not really matter. Just like what matters is that one person who's going to help me out. So it's all about having that positive mindset at the end of the day, that no matter how many rejections I face, it's all about like going and chasing that vision that I have for myself, right? All right, so then when you've actually posted a lot of stuff on LinkedIn actually gives you analytics, right? So what it tells you is that how many people have actually viewed your profile. So these screenshots are from like when I was a student. So that time I had about like 80 profile viewers in the last, like whenever I took this screenshot. And then like, what are my searchers doing? So it says that, okay, they are directors, salesperson, consultant. So I see that recruiters are like just for 4%, but does not really matter. If you actually approach the decision makers and if they hire you, recruiters don't matter, right? So that's how you negate that thing. So if thousands and thousands of people are running behind the recruitment consultants, you don't have to run if you know that, okay, like you have another route altogether, right? So you also get this analytics from LinkedIn, wherein it actually tells you that how many people, like what exactly are you being searched for. So it says that, okay, like investor assistant. So over here it gives you an insight that like how's your profile doing. So let's say that you want to become a marketing strategist or something like that, so people are not searching and finding your profile, so that gives you a cue, right? um, all right, so okay, so lastly, it's basically how do you reposition your brand. Let's say you're a student who has no experience, right? And you see yourself as a CMO, let's say in the next 5 years or 7 years. So how do you reach there? It's basically whatever I've told you in the last 45 minutes, right? So you need to incorporate certain elements on a regular basis. The fact that I'm emphasizing on the continuous aspect is because is basically when you do things regularly, it becomes a part of you. It becomes more of disciplined oriented approach rather than just doing it one time and just leaving it. So a lot of my friends and family ask me that, like, how do you get offers from LinkedIn? It's not working for us. How is it working for you? So I told you. So it's basically reaching out to the decision makers. So if I know someone, I will reach out to that person. If I don't know someone, I will reach out to that person through someone. If I have no mutual connections, I will reach out and I will read the profile and I will say that, okay, hello, this is, I love your profile, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, how about we connect and we discuss more things. All right. So, right now my current brand is this, right? I have all these experiences in marketing, but then, like, I want to reposition myself. So I don't want to be stagnant that, okay, I've done all these things very good for myself. No, I want to be evolving, like, as time technology changes. So I've written over here that I want to be considered myself as a person who's a specialist, be it finance or marketing, because I have, like, master's degree in both. And I can actually, be a person who can actually make things happen, right, both locally and globally. So that's the kind of vision that I have for myself. So lastly, I would say that, each and every one of us who's attending this workshop has a certain special gift, right? So you need to explore that. Like, what exactly is that? Like, what do you love doing? What is that one thing that gives you immense joy on a regular basis? And then how can you connect that as a professional? And how can you bring or add value to another person's life? Like, join all those dots, and I think you'll be good, you'll be great. So that's about it for today. So I hope that I was able to add some sort of value through today's workshop. So please feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I'm there by the name of Urvashi Ghosh. And if you need any help in terms of, like, building your LinkedIn, or any sort of career guidance specifically in Sydney, or you want to understand more depths or layers of networking, or else anything apart from these aspects, you can reach out to me. So I do, like, hourly consulting. So I can actually help you out with that, with all these aspects as well. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Avashi. That was great. I actually learnt some really brand new things that I never realized myself. Like, that's the tip of looking at, say, a senior director role and seeing the experience they've gained, like, over time, to see what I should be doing now. I've never thought about, and that's such a good idea. But it's awesome. But basically, now, everyone, we're going to be moving to the Q&A portion of the video. So if you've got any questions at all, please feel free to pop them in the chat, and Avashi will get to answering those. I might start with one of my questions, Avashi. What do you think is probably say, a common mistake for someone to make when they're, say, starting off their LinkedIn profile that can kind of easily be avoided, that you'd probably see a lot of students doing?
So the number one mistake that people make, like students per se, they make is that I'll give you an example. Okay, I'll share my screen.
Yep, no worries.
Oh, okay.
I can get it.
All right. Okay. Not this one. Okay, 1 second. Can you see my screen?
I can see the thank you page.
No, not that. Okay, 1 second. Not that one. Okay, yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So what people do is that in terms of experience, they write over here that they are a student, right? And employment, they don't write anything, and right, that's what they do, and that's the number one mistake that I've seen. Like if you are working as a student, like even if you're a business student, you should not be like putting that in your experience, because that's not your work experience. And I've seen a couple of people making that mistake. So that, I mean, even if you are working, let's say at a part-time job, right? So put that up, should not be an issue. What you need to do is over here, whatever your title is, let's say you are an admin assistant, right? So put that up, right? Put this as a part-time thingy, company, whatever company you're working at. And where did it go? Okay, the location matters. So put up the location as Sydney. Then all right, all these things can be filled up. Description, right? That what exactly, like how are you actually adding value to that business, even if you're working as an admin, but then you have certain transferable skills. So use that, right? That you're handling so much pressure, you're working with so many team members, and that's how you're bringing value or adding value to someone else's. So that's how you should go about. And the education side of things can actually go in the education bit. So over here, I think you have something. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. So education, I think you can just add over here. I think that's the number one mistake that people make. And also like not utilizing your LinkedIn properly. So see, if I reach out to someone like just once, the person is going to be like, okay, I think she has something in her back of her mind, and that's why she's reaching out. So what you should do is you should be very active on LinkedIn, wherein like you can see my activity. I keep posting things on a regular basis. Now, for example, if I'm working with a startup based in the US, and the person who's heading this is Daminate, so like I came across something, and then it says about Black women in leadership. So, and she's a Black woman. So I wrote that this may be of interest to you. So she wrote that, okay, thank you for bringing this to my attention. So this is how you can add value also, like just by like commenting and tagging someone. So I think, yeah, this is what you should be doing. Any other question?
Yeah, so I had another question. So what would you say was the most challenging thing in like the whole personal branding process? Especially kind of like just starting out, I guess, which is most of us. So.
I think having that vision is something I would term as challenging, because not a lot of people have that clarity in terms of where they want to go, how they want to achieve that. They just want that, okay, I want a job, a marketing job, that's it, that pays me, let's say 60,000 per year, and I'll be able to recover my fees. And that's the kind of approach that I've actually seen from the from students who are just starting out. So as I've said in my workshop, that you need to go through yourself. You need to understand yourself. How's your personality? You need to ask your peers, be it like family members, friends, like how do they perceive you, and then go to the job descriptions of those companies that you want to work at. Let's say not now, let's say in the future, see that what exactly do they need, and then reverse engineer, right? You need to see that, okay, these are 5 things that they want. How can I actually get those 5 things? So that's how you can actually start. So number one challenging thing is basically having that vision for yourself. So goal planning, I would say, is something that people actually miss out on, and that's something that they can actually work upon.
Yeah, thank you. It's pretty interesting.
All right, do we have more questions?
Yes, I think
Okay.
we've got some in the chat.
Okay, so we've got one from Emily. All right, that's a good question. So Emily is asking that what about an ideal cover image? All right, so see, I mean, right now we just have marketing professionals over here in this workshop, but then like certain times what happens is there are finance professionals also. So at times what you can do is you can just like go to canva.com, and you can like check for like those banners. So see like what exactly matches up to your whole LinkedIn profile, like what exactly can actually add value. Or else you can also have a one-liner, like for example, I have the one-liner on my LinkedIn stating that okay, I'll just share that with you so that you can get an idea. Just a second. Kali, can you just yeah, okay, thank you. All right, so in terms of cover image for me, what I've done is I've just written, I turn ideas plus marketing strategies into growth stories. So because what happens is when I've written like a profile, like a summary about myself, so I've actually like incorporated the kind of value that I've actually brought in terms of a couple of organizations. So what similarly you can also like do something like this, like collate and make it something very very catchy, something a person can actually like understand. Or else sometimes I've also seen that people who are working in corporates, they actually put up their banners stating that we are hiring and all of that. So once you reach that stage, you can also put up that. So there is no hard and fast rule which states that you need to put up something like that. It's all that you need to do like trial and error. So when I was a student, I had put up a banner which I can show you again. 1 second. Can you see the screen, the Canva one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep. So see, like when I was a student, I had put up this travel before you run out of time. So it has nothing to do with marketing at all, right? But then this gives an idea that, like I'm a student based in Australia, and like I like to travel, and that's how like I got a consulting job at travel. Of course not. The CEO did not see this cover image and hired me, of course. But what I'm trying to say is, you need to put something which you really like doing, and that becomes like the point of actually discussion, that okay, where have you been to? And then if the other person who's on the recruiting side says that, oh, I like to travel as well, and then it clicks, as opposed to someone who's like I don't have any hobby as such. I don't. I just like to like do Netflix. Even if you like to do Netflix, like you can make something out of that. That like you like to watch certain series. That also becomes like a talking point. And only so you need to understand that the other person who is hiring is also a person. So that person also likes to do certain things. It's not all about you. It's also about the other person. So once you actually experience a couple of interviews, whether they actually work out or not, but the experience that you get from those interviews is like something that cannot be measured in terms of monetary value. So go out there, like, like make mistakes. I think that's very important to make mistakes. All right. The second question that Emily has, should you remove experience as it becomes less relevant, for example, casual jobs? So I would say that it depends. Like, I mean, I have seen people who have reached up to director level and they still have their, intern thing on their profile because they've started out somewhere and there's no harm in putting that. So it's all right. Like, even if you're working at a casual job, as I said, even if you're working as an admin, you're adding certain value, you're doing it. Quantify like how, just like if you're working, let's say 5 hours a week or 10 or 15, whatever it is, the kind of output that you're bringing to the business, write that, and you can actually connect that later on in your career growth, like as it happens. So that's all right. Okay, next question is, what if we want to be active in LinkedIn but we don't have any activity that are related to the professional world? All right, so for this, I think it's important for you to start building your network, because once you start building your network, you're going to find that people are sharing on a daily basis. People have full-fledged content strategy as to how they can grow. Like, I know certain individuals who post on a daily basis. That's intense. And the kind of engagement that they have is pretty massive as well. So there's this person called Austin. He was a student last year. So Austin, I think, has graduated from some university in the US. He used to like post every single day on LinkedIn, the kind of value that he used to bring about. So LinkedIn hired him. Like, so this year he'll be joining LinkedIn as a sales associate. So that's the massive value that I was talking about. Adding like relevant people in your network is very important, and not adding anyone, because it's a time consuming process, that's for sure. Like, if you see people who are like randomly adding people, that maybe they have some sort of like motive in their mind, but I would not suggest that. I would suggest that you add people whom you know, or else people who can actually give you some sort of insights. Like, for example, let's say there is this payment company. What is that? Yeah, Afterpay, right? Which is like buy today, pay later. So it's into that. So I have the CEO in my LinkedIn, right? So Larry keeps posting stuff, and then if you actually go and check his like activities comment section, you will find just 10 people commenting out of those 20,000 connections that he has. So if you add value to Larry's post every single time, you will see that Afterpay is like one of the top companies, whether be it in Australia or in the US. If you want to work at Afterpay, comment and add value and be there at like you never know that how it may actually help, because a person like Larry also has certain other CEOs who can actually see your profile. So it's important to keep iterating your profile every time, like now and then, that whatever, like be it your project, like for example, if you're doing a project, right, you can add that. So LinkedIn also has a section of projects, so add that. Like, if you have worked with certain people, add that also. So I think that should help. All right, perfect. So I think we're right on time. I think just 2 minutes spending. All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah.
Can I just ask real quick?
Mm-hmm.
How about the headlines? The one that's under your name. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
exactly do you need to put in there?
That's a good question. So sometimes what people do is they just write a couple of key pointers or keywords, like say brand strategy, consulting, okay. But I would suggest that you should write something which sort of is quantifiable, right? So for example, I will just show my profile just for a second, Carly. Like, I think we can just take this question up. Okay. um, can you see my screen? The LinkedIn one? Yep. All right. So currently I'm working as a marketing and branding consultant for a couple of startups in the US. I've also worked with SMEs and MNCs, so I've written that. Okay. So if I'm like adding value. Then what I've done is I've quantified stuff wherein I've actually written that, okay, I've actually scaled something by so many percentage, and over here I've written that without spending a dime on ads. So nowadays a lot of people are spending a lot of money, but then I know that things work even if you don't shell out money. So that's wherein I am actually telling the person who's reading my profile that, you know, you can do things other way also. And then I'm working as a global shaper, so that's the volunteering side of things. So if someone wants to become a global shaper, they can also reach out to me. So this is how you know, like add value. So what you need to do is just click on edit over here and just, you know, edit your headlines. So yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah.
But if you're a student, like how or what would you suggest we put in there? Like if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
work experience yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. So then what you can do is, let's say you have worked with certain, you know, like on certain projects. Let's say you've worked with um, Aldi supermarket, right? Or else Coles in your business projects. So write that, you know, like taken up projects with so and so. Then that becomes really catchy, that how is a student actually working with companies like Aldi or Coles. So then that becomes like the talking point. So the idea behind putting up a headline is that that becomes the talking point, or that becomes the point wherein the person is really curious to actually ask you that, hey Christine, like how did you do that? And then you tell them that I was a student, yeah, and I did that. So that becomes secondary. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. We've just run out. But again, thank you so much, Urvashi. We've learned so much from you. I'm so grateful that we could have you in part of the MMSA event. Also, everyone, if you want to like seek out Urvashi or contact her as well after the meeting, just this is her LinkedIn profile. She's shown us as well, so you can give her a message and see if she'll add you. We also want to tell if anyone who's here for GLP, just make sure you take a screenshot so you've got your 2 screenshots before and at the end of the day. But that basically wraps us up. Thank you so much for coming. We hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.